All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're taking a look at a genuinely fascinating architectural blueprint for scaling your output without actually expanding your headcount. Look, if you've ever felt like there literally aren't enough hours in the day to build the business you're dreaming of, well, this breakdown of Blueprint 2, the personal AI company, is going to be right up your alley. We're kicking things off with a pretty bold claim from the source material. The smallest company of the future won't be a person working alone, but rather someone directing a cognitive organization made up of specialized agents. It's a total paradigm shift, right? We're moving you from being an exhausted, burnt-out employee trapped in your own business to stepping up as the high-level director of a cognitive enterprise. It's not about replacing human work. It's about elevating your role so you focus strictly on strategy and creativity, while AI handles the heavy lifting in the background. So to figure out how to actually build this, we're going to walk through 6 key phases. First, the creator's problem, then the personal AI company, followed by architecture and agents, memory and reusability, implementation and scalability, and we'll wrap up with the real benefit. Okay, section 1, the creator's problem, the limit of doing it all. If you're a solopreneur, you probably know this overwhelmed soloist setup intimately. You are desperately juggling all the hats, writer, designer, marketer, customer service rep, the accountant, and you're usually doing all of that before lunch. As the source material highlights, working this way puts a hard limit on your growth. But then, check out the distributed personal AI company setup. Suddenly, all those repetitive functions are neatly handed off to specialized AI agents. That frees you up to focus 100% on steering the ship. Moving on to section 2, the personal AI company, a new paradigm. So what exactly is a personal AI company, or a PAC? The source defines it as a single-person organization capable of operating multiple, totally distinct business lines by reusing a shared architecture. Think of it like being the conductor of an orchestra. You aren't frantically running around trying to play every single instrument yourself anymore. Instead, you're orchestrating this highly efficient, automated system that runs multiple businesses simultaneously simply because they all share the exact same foundation, skills, and memory. Let's dive into section 3, architecture and agents, inside the engine room. Right at the absolute core of this architecture is what's called your cognitive kernel. You can literally think of this as the brain of your entire operation. It takes your big daily priorities and organizes the workflow for the whole system. We're talking distributing tasks, ensuring knowledge gets reused, measuring the actual results, and even resolving conflicts that pop up between your different business units. It is the central hub keeping the whole shebang running smoothly. And from that central brain, you can plug in up to 10 independent business units, which the blueprint calls harnesses. So you could have one harness dedicated entirely to churning out books and ebooks, another one just for running educational courses, maybe a third for evergreen content like podcasts. You can even spin up harnesses for developing software, doing market research, or managing a community. The best part? Each of these units can grow completely independently, all while being perfectly coordinated by your executive direction. Now, powering those business units are your specialized agents. Imagine having a virtual C-suite where a dedicated research agent is out there investigating new markets, a market agent is crunching numbers on new opportunities, and a content agent is seamlessly coordinating your publishing schedule behind the scenes. There's even an evolution agent mapped out here, whose only job is to constantly hunt for new tools and system improvements. It's wild. Which brings us to section 4, memory and reusability, the multiplier effect. This step-by-step flow is honestly the magic trick of the entire system. Because your agents all share a central memory, a book you write in your editorial harness automatically feeds its content directly into an educational course. Then, that course generates scripts for videos in your evergreen content harness. Those videos spark new engagement over in your community harness, which, you guessed it, gives you fresh ideas for the next book. It becomes this incredible self-feeding loop of constant productivity. The takeaway here is profound. In this ecosystem, nothing is ever lost. Every single shared skill, whether that's research, writing, data analysis, or automation, is continuously reused across all your business lines. Absolutely zero effort is wasted. Because everything gets documented in that shared memory, you're quite literally never starting a project from a blank page again. Okay, let's talk logistics in section 5, implementation and scalability, your strategic roadmap. Now, obviously, you don't build this massive engine overnight. This timeline is designed to be super gradual and actually achievable. In your first 30 days, you just focus on setting up the core architecture with one single harness and one agent, plus a basic document repository. By 90 days, you scale that up to 3 business units with some basic automations and an executive dashboard. And by the end of your first year, that's when you systematically hit that full 10 harness empire with an active agent factory. You scale your output exponentially without burning yourself out. And what's really fantastic about this is that you can validate this entire model totally for free. Your minimum viable product version can be built using open source tools, Git repositories, and really basic automations while keeping human supervision in the mix. The main priority is simply getting the architecture in place. Once you actually prove it works and your revenue starts growing, well, then you can seamlessly upgrade to the professional version using the fancy commercial models, vector databases, and enterprise-level integrations. That being said, the blueprint is super clear about some fatal traps you absolutely need to avoid. So listen up. Do not try to automate everything on day one. Do not fail to document your processes as you go. Never ignore the actual data and measured results. Also, please don't rely on just one single tech provider for your whole architecture, and do not spin up too many harnesses before you've solidified the ones you have. Dodging these potholes is absolutely critical for sustainable growth. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 6, the real benefit, the cognitive advantage. When you establish these daily, weekly, and monthly flows, you'll be tracking some pretty game-changing KPIs. We're talking way faster product launches, a massive reduction in your admin time, zero duplicated work, and a much higher speed of innovation. Tracking these metrics proves the most vital concept of all. Your core architecture stays exactly the same, even as your capacity to innovate and launch products goes through the roof. Basically, you're scaling your output, not your infrastructure. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought right from the source material. Ask yourself, are you just trying to get through a to-do list of daily tasks to keep your head above water? Or are you ready to build a cognitive enterprise where every single thing you learn instantly becomes a reusable asset for all your future business ideas? It is a massive shift in perspective, and I highly, highly encourage you to start designing your own cognitive kernel today. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.